What's up, everybody? It's Alex Leak and Friends NBA podcast back for another week. I'm your host, Alex Leak. We got Chris back on the show. Chris, good to have you on.
Yes, good to be on the show as always, man.
We're recording this ahead of Game One of the Suns and Nuggets about to get going tonight. Um, Good series. So Suns and Clippers. I mean, it sucks Kawhi got hurt. Sucks Paul George couldn't play. Do you think the Clippers could have beat the Suns if healthy, or do you think Phoenix was just a better team and they would have won regardless?
Um, I mean, I feel even a healthy, if had Kawhi not got hurt, it would have been a more competitive series. But once he went down, I think all the air left that team.
Yeah,
But I think a healthy Kawhi and a healthy Paul George, with the way Russ was kind of playing, it definitely would have been very competitive. I think it could have went either way, to be honest.
yeah, it could have at least gone 6 or 7 games, and that would have been a lot of fun to watch.
But
Um,
Devin Booker's also playing out of his mind, so
yeah, and I kind of called that because adding a guy like Kevin Durant, now Booker can be that second option and play off of Durant. He's not catching all those double teams anymore, and he can kind of just catch and shoot.
and right now he's doing his thing, and Durant's kind of just coasting. Like he doesn't have to do so much either. It's not
Exactly.
all on him as well.
Yeah, if you remember KD in Golden State, right? It's a lot easier when all the pressure isn't on you and you've got all these great teammates around you?
You can just play your game, and
Yeah.
you can have
Take
a
your
big night.
shots.
But KD can drop 40, and then oh well, look, Steph Curry can drop 40, or Devin Booker can drop 40. Like yeah, it's definitely a lot easier. I was a little
Yeah.
worried about the bench depth of the
Okay.
Suns with the KD trade. And we'll see if that comes into play later on in the playoffs.
Yeah. Nuggets go past Minnesota pretty easily in 5 games. That easily could have been a sweep. We're about to watch Nuggets Suns starting tonight. How do you see this series going? For me personally, I have the Suns winning this, but I think it goes 6 or 7 games. It should be a lot of fun.
I also see the Suns winning. Like I said, just for the simple fact that, I mean, KD hasn't even really got going like KD yet. He's, still kind of working back from that injury. I feel getting his feet underneath him from coming back towards the end of the season. Um, I feel like, don't sleep on the Nuggets, but I definitely feel like the Suns are the better team. I feel like they'll pull it out at the end of the day.
Yeah, what do you think of the Nuggets? So, are they going to start getting a label like Jokic has been MVP, almost 3 years in a row, MVP candidate all 3 years. He's been one of the best players in the league in the regular season. The Nuggets have, Jamal Murray been a great team, but they can't never seem to, win the West or go deep enough in the West. What do you think of the Nuggets? If they do lose to Phoenix, are they going to start getting a reputation for, Joker and these guys like they just can't get it done and maybe they need to
Well, almost. I mean, that's kind of funny that you say that. Like, are they a Joker team?
yeah,
um,
yeah,
I mean, I don't know. Like, they're definitely like some teams are just like that. Maybe they just don't thrive under the pressure. It seems like as of late. They've had a good team the last few years. I think being the number one seed, um, people expect a lot out of them, but
hmm
I don't know. I feel like they're missing a few pieces.
I agree. I mean,
I,
like
I don't I still don't think they're ready. I don't
yeah,
think this is their year.
I love Joker. I think he's an extreme talent, but I don't know if he should be your number one option. Imagine they need to go add somebody. Imagine if they go add a dude, a closer. What if the Nuggets were to get someone like Kawhi? Now they're a real legit championship contender, right?
What if they had a guy like Jimmy Butler?
Like Butler, yeah, yeah, exactly. A dog, a closer, someone who can take over and be that number one option. Joker, for whatever reason, I don't see that. He's a great talent, but can he win you can he carry you to the finals appearance? That I don't think he can. And now is the opportunity though for Joker and for the Nuggets. Hey, prove us all wrong, shut us all up. You got home court. Go beat Kevin Durant and the Suns, right? Now's the opportunity.
I mean, yeah, and to be honest, I kind of see the Suns taking game one.
I do too. I think Suns in six, Suns in seven at worst, but with Nuggets having home court, Suns in six makes a lot of sense. Close it out in Phoenix. But
Yeah,
speaking of that, so you assume that when the Warriors win game five in Sacramento and they go up 3 games to 2, I think we all assume series over. Warriors are going to close it out at home in game six, and they failed to do that last night. They lose game six at home. Now they got to go on the road in Sacramento tomorrow against
and
the
they have
Heat.
it. Yeah, go ahead. My bad.
Yeah, and so I mean, what are your thoughts going into that? Do you think Golden State, they've proven it before. They got 4 championships under their belt, but this Kings team has been pretty impressive. Do you think the Warriors can go into Sacramento and win a road game 7 tomorrow?
I mean, I feel like they can, but I feel like they should have done it last night.
Yeah.
Like you were down 2 games to none and you won three in a row.
Yep.
So I mean, they're showing that they got grit and fight. To me, it's a toss up now. It comes down to who wants it more between those two teams.
Yeah.
I mean, the Warriors went in there and got a hard fought road win when they needed it, and they could have closed it out at home. But right, it to me that's a hard call. I mean, I don't know who's going to win that game seven. I feel like I feel like the championship and the playoff experience is going to help the Warriors though.
I do
They've
too.
they've been there before. So I
Yeah.
feel like in my heart, I feel like it's their series to lose at this point. Like they were already counted out when they were down 2-0. Everybody was like, "Oh, it's over. It's a wrap." And they
Yeah.
fought back and won three in a row. And now it's that was a testament to their playoff experience and the guys they have around them. So I mean, that they need a strong game from Steph, a strong game from Clay. But
Jordan
I think
Poole needs to play a lot better than he did in game 6.
I mean, would you put Draymond back in the starting lineup for that game seven or
Absolutely. Draymond's got to be in your starting lineup. They need big games out of Poole. Dante DiVincenzo's been underachieving the entire series. He needs to have a good game for once. Wiggins needs to have a good game offensively. He's been doing fine defensively, but Malik Monk came out of nowhere. Malik Monk has been absolutely balling for the Kings. And Poole had one of the worst games I've ever seen from him in game 6. He needs to put together a much better game 7. I think he will. I think the Warriors win game 7 on the road, but anytime you fail on an opportunity to close out a series and then you got to go on the road for game 7, I agree with you. It then becomes a much tougher, game. And it's gonna be a lot of fun. I can't wait to watch it. But give me the Warriors on the road, like you said, that playoff championship experience. Steve Kerr, I think the Warriors will find a way.
yeah, that's
And then
exactly at it.
and then
But
and then
again,
that would
if they
yeah,
don't,
go ahead.
the Kings are gonna beat them for sure because they're hungry. You can see
Yeah.
the hunger in them. So
Yeah, De'Aaron Fox, Domantas Sabonis, Mike Brown's done a hell of a job as the head coach. And then so let's look at I mean, so you're probably rooting for the Kings, right? You would probably much rather face the Kings as a Lakers fan in the second round than the Warriors, correct?
I mean, probably yes, but I don't know, man. I ever since the All Star break, I've had my outlook on the Lakers has changed. Everybody counted them out to even make the playoffs, and then everybody counted them out to lose against Memphis, and they proved that they don't quit. And they added some key pieces before the trade deadline, and they've been the best team in the NBA since the trade deadline.
Yeah, I mean,
It, it all depends on the consistency and It seems like they play defense when they want to, and they need to play defense all the time.
Yeah, I've been very impressed with the Lakers team defense for sure. They've really stepped it up on that end. The trades they made at the deadline, they brought in a lot of good defenders. And as a team, they're playing good, excellent team defense at times. And so it's gonna be a hell of a series, whoever it is, against the Kings or against the Warriors. I don't trust the Kings at all. So if it's Lakers Kings, I think the Lakers do go to the conference finals and win that series in probably 6 games. But if it's Lakers Warriors, that to me I think is worst case scenario for the Lakers. You don't want to face the Warriors, the defending champs.
And give
Um,
them home court.
yeah, they'll have home court. Steph Curry has had LeBron's number a little bit, and Anthony Davis has really been the key. Like as how Anthony Davis plays is how the Lakers play. You have to have that dominant big in Anthony Davis setting the tone. If he doesn't, then the Lakers kind of, LeBron at this age isn't going to carry him the way he has in the past. So Anthony Davis really needs to be the best Laker, right?
Absolutely.
And so I'm hoping for Lakers Warriors just because I think that's going to be a great series too. That'll go 6 or 7 games. The Lakers are going to get a
And then
couple
if
wins.
LeBron can take that one, that might, you know, boost his confidence into the conference finals with whoever that may be.
Yeah. Um,
But, I'm sure he wants to get a little get back at Steph Curry. I think it's kind of funny. I mean, I'm not a huge Dylan Brooks fan at all. So the fact that he was like, "Oh, we want the Lakers. We think that'll be a good series to get our feet wet for the playoffs," almost like he was taking them as a joke. Well, you got what you wanted, sir, and you guys got your asses handed to you.
yeah, as a team that has proven absolutely nothing, Dylan Brooks and John Morant and Desmond Bain and those Grizzlies should not have been talking. Like they have done nothing. They're a young team. They're new to this, and the Lakers are not. And so uh all that talk was, and trying to poke the bear or whatever was stupid. And it backfired. And the Grizzlies, they're a great regular season team. They're able to get the 2 seed. They had a great season. They're not
They're
a playoff.
almost Nuggets esque.
Yeah, exactly. They're not a playoff team. I tweeted a couple nights ago that the Grizzlies need a closer. As much as we all like John Morant for his high flying dunks and his fast breaks and some of his passes and the way he plays the game, he's not a closer. He hasn't been that guy to step up and
In
take and
crunch
make the big
time.
shots. Yes, in the
Right.
playoffs especially. And so that was stupid of the Grizzlies, and they deserve to lose that series. If you're not gonna back it up and you're gonna not be clutch, you deserve to lose. But um, I think it's gonna be Lakers Warriors. If you're a Lakers fan, you're rooting for this. You're rooting for the Kings, and you're rooting for the Nuggets tonight and going ahead. You want the 1 seed Nuggets because you beat them in the bubble in 2020, and you're not scared of the Kings. But Warriors and Suns are to me the two best teams in the Western Conference, and with the Lakers close behind. And so Lakers Warriors would be a hell of a 6 or 7 game series, and I give the edge to Golden State. But and then the Phoenix Suns are who nobody wants to face, right? The Suns are just loaded. They're the favorites to win the West, and it's just
But they've also got to prove it to me too because they've been in they are in the same boat as the Grizzlies and Nuggets. They have not been the playoff team that people expect multiple
well,
years in a row.
I give the Suns more credit than Grizzlies and Nuggets because the Suns did make the finals 2 years ago without Durant. And they lost to Milwaukee, but just to get there was a big accomplishment. And then you add Durant, and as I know people have questions about Durant, but let's not forget Durant in Golden State was the man, you know what I mean? And so if he can get anywhere near back to that, then they're a legit threat. So
Absolutely.
I think Suns over Nuggets and Lakers Warriors is going to be a hell of a matchup. And whoever faces the Suns in the conference finals, it's going to be a lot of fun, whether it's the Lakers or the Warriors. Uh, So the West is going to be a lot of fun to see who comes out of that conference. Let's go to the East real quick. Bro, I'm so excited about this. As a 90s kid, as a kid who grew up watching the playoffs in the late 90s and early 2000s, Heat Knicks, second round, sign me up. I hope we get some fights and some suspensions in this series. We need Riley and Jeff Van Gundy, coaching this. This is going to be a lot of fun.
Absolutely, and it's going to be a good series. Like I really did not expect the Heat to come in there, having to play two playing games and barely
Yeah,
scraping into the playoffs to come in there and kind of dominate the number one seed the way they did.
real
Um,
quick, that's an absolute choke job by Giannis and the Bucks. Like
absolutely,
we saw the post game press conference where Giannis got upset about the season being called a failure, and maybe failure is too strong of a word, but disappointment absolutely. Like
absolutely.
you are the one seed. The majority of people are picking the Bucks to win the East. Giannis is a defending, or not the defending, but he's won a championship before. And the back injury played a role in it, absolutely. But Giannis played in games 4 and games 5, and the Bucks had double-digit leads in both of those games and just didn't close. And most of all, credit to Jimmy Butler, bro. Did you
Jimmy
see Jimmy
Butler
Butler?
played out of his mind.
Yeah, straight up dog. And I can't wait to see what he does in round 2 against the Knicks. I have a feeling Butler has a couple special performances for the Garden coming up, you know?
Oh, I do too, and I mean Julius Randle's health is a concern right now, so that's not a good look for the Knicks right now. Like it's not going to
Yep.
help at all.
Um,
Um, but yeah, I think but the Heat also lost Tyler Hero for the playoffs, so
yep.
there's that. But yeah, I don't know. Jimmy Butler just hit another level, and
Yeah.
I think he's hungry, and I think he's thinking about the finals he lost against what? I'm pretty sure it was the Lakers, yeah, in the
Yeah.
bubble.
And he was one shot away from going back to the finals last year. One three-pointer against the Celtics in game 7 away. So, man, I am hoping for a rematch. I'm hoping for a Heat Celtics Eastern Conference Finals. The East, now that the Bucks are out, the East is wide open. And most importantly, for one team, the Sixers, right? The Sixers are the Nuggets and Grizzlies. The Sixers are the team that can never win the East, and they got the talent to do so. You got Joel Embiid, you got James Harden, you got Maxey, you got the coach Doc Rivers. Now is the time, if ever. The East is wide open. The Sixers need to prove that they can get past Boston, and then the East is right there for them to take, you know?
Absolutely, and you know I I'm rooting for the Heat to be honest. Like after watching that first round from Jimmy Butler, like I want to see I want to keep seeing it. I want him to just ball out, man. And I've
Yeah.
always been a fan ever since he was in Chicago. He's that hard nosed, gritty basketball player that you love to have on your team.
Yep. Absolutely. Oh, bro. Tell me about it. Jimmy Butler, former Chicago Bull. And I would have built the entire future of our franchise around Jimmy Butler. I knew it when he was on the team. He was a dog. He didn't show everything that he was capable of, but you could see all the signs. And
Absolutely.
Bulls brass, Bulls management, Bulls ownership did not believe in Jimmy Butler and traded him for Zach LaVine and built around Zach LaVine. And the Bulls are still paying for it, right? Bulls haven't made it out of the first round since then. And I just wish, the Bulls are still paying for that mistake. So credit to Jimmy Butler. If you know his story about being homeless back in the day in Texas and working fast food and how far he's come to get to this point, an incredible story. And I'm with you. Go Miami Heat. And I would love to see a Heat Celtics rematch. Do you think Celtics get past the 76ers?
Uh I don't know. I mean, it can that series can go either way too. It's
Yeah.
can the Celtics finally prove or you're not the Well, the Celtics of late too. They haven't been able to get over that hump either, and they've had a good team for quite a few years in a row. But the Sixers got to prove it, but so do the Celtics. It's kind of the same scenario of Game 7 of the Sacramento Kings and Warriors. Who wants it more? Who's gonna
Yeah.
prove it?
Yep. I give the edge to the Celtics and I give the edge to the Heat. I think we get a rematch of last year's Eastern Conference Finals, and that should be a hell of a series. And then Boston, every now that the Bucks are out, the Celtics have a clear path to get back to the finals. Like the Celtics should, in their minds, get back to the finals and face either the Suns or the Warriors in a rematch. And I mean, who knows? But um, the Celtics have a lot to prove too. Jason Tatum did not play well in last year's finals against Golden State, and so that this is why we love the playoffs, though, isn't it? It's like legacies are on the line, narratives for the entire next season are on the line. What happens in these playoffs is what we're going to be talking about for a year to come. You know?
You're right, and I don't know, man. I just maybe I'm being biased, man, but I'm just saying, don't sleep on my Lakers, man, because I just feel like they got a little tick about them right now. Especially, they got a lot of confidence just putting out the number 2 seed,
Yeah,
and like you said, it's all about how AD plays. I think his shoulder's been bothering him quite some time throughout the series. Um, But you saw last night the way they just played through him. I mean, they just completely blew Memphis out.
yep,
And I wanted to give you a hypothetical. Like, what does this do for LeBron's legacy if he were to possibly win the championship this year? It's not likely in a lot of people's eyes, but you can't count it out. I mean, it's LeBron and it's AD, and they've added some pieces, and
yeah.
the
No,
way they've played since the trade deadline and All Star break and all that, like if they happen to somehow pull it off, like what does that do for his legacy as a whole in people's
absolutely.
eyes?
Absolutely. All these legacies are still on the line, right? Jimmy Butler is proving his legacy as we speak, where eyes are being opened. You know, he made the finals. He was one shot away last year, and he's still opening eyes in the first round this year. And what's he got in store for us in the second round? So Jimmy Butler's got a lot to prove.
Right. If the
Jason,
Warriors repeat, what does that do for Steph's legacy? Where does that
yes,
that just only elevates the talk about him and where
especially
he stands? And
especially if the Warriors have to go through LeBron and the Lakers, right? Because Curry and LeBron, regardless of what you think about LeBron's body of work, all-time leading scorer, his longevity, you know, at the end of the day, right? We talk about championships and amount of rings won, and Curry and LeBron are right there, neck and neck. Curry with 4 rings, LeBron with 4 rings. If Curry gets past the Lakers and wins a fifth ring, bro, a lot of people are gonna put Curry ahead of LeBron all time. If LeBron gets past Curry and wins a ring, LeBron's gonna go up there. LeBron with 5 rings is all of a sudden in the same range as Kobe and Magic Johnson and Tim Duncan. You know what I mean?
right,
Like a lot can change with one championship. Jason Tatum underperformed in the finals last year, but if he wins one ring in Boston, suddenly that does a ton for his resume. And we already talked about the Joker. And imagine if Kevin Durant, who has 2 rings, 2 finals MVPs, and everyone criticizes him
and then
for
that gives Chris Paul his first ring as well that he's been chasing.
absolutely, and you know what the narrative is on KD is, well, you could only win when you went to a 70 plus win Warriors. Well, if he can win one in Phoenix, that kind of dispels that narrative a little bit. So much is on the line, and this is why we love it, man. The playoffs are storylines everywhere.
Yeah, I'm excited for it, man. That first round was intense.
Yeah.
More so other series than others, but
Well, and it,
um,
it it caps off tomorrow with a game 7, the first round of finishes tomorrow, and we both know that game seven is going to be fire.
Oh yeah, I can't wait to watch that. I'm ready. I'm like, man. And I I have always been a huge Steph Curry fan ever since he
Yeah.
was at Davidson.
Yep.
I was always, I want to see him and Durant face each other in the conference finals almost outside of, I don't want to see my Lakers get put out, but if my Lakers are out, that's what I want to see. Suns Warriors, KD versus Curry.
Yeah.
Because even that narrative is going to be fun. Like, okay, we were
Yep.
on the same team, won a couple championships. Now let's see what happens head to head.
And the narratives, right? Imagine if the Warriors beat KD and the Suns, then everyone's just gonna pile on KD. I've been saying it ever since KD went to Phoenix. I'm like, KD better win this year. Otherwise, because they love to make fun of Durant and say that he's a cupcake and he's soft. If he can't win this year, it's only gonna get louder. He's so great, but only two championships to show for it. Durant needs another one badly.
Yeah, and then, I mean, a lot of people are like, man, look what happened when you guys played Miami. And then look what happened. You had a 3-1 lead on the Warriors and then lost and then joined them the next year. And that's part of it. It's like,
Yep.
how do you let a team come back from a 3-1 deficit and then you go and join them the following year? That's what a lot of people are like, oh, yeah, that's, ugh.
But
No, but
you can kind of get away from that narrative a little bit if you win in Phoenix. And so that's got to be
absolutely.
Durant motivation, but we got a big game coming up. Nuggets Suns game 1. Real quick, what's your thoughts? What's your predictions for this series? Uh I got Suns in 6, and it wouldn't surprise me at all if Phoenix comes out and wins game 1. What do you think?
I'm thinking Phoenix. I mean, with the way Devin Booker's playing out of his mind, it's a toss up between him and Jimmy Butler right now for who's the best player in the playoffs so far. It's
Yeah.
clearly those two above the rest, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
And if Booker continues to play the way he is, you know, I don't see them getting beat. I don't see it. And then KD can pop off and give you 40 or 50 at any given moment too. So
Yeah.
it just, but I think the Suns win game 1. I think the Suns win the overall series. Like probably in 6. I feel like they win game 1, and I feel like they close it out back at home. And
Yeah.
if it happens to go to a game 7,
Then it
I
gets interesting because
then it
game sevens on the road are always so difficult. That's why Golden State is really up against it tomorrow.
absolutely, and that's where I just think that experience is going to come into play though, and I wonder if, but maybe not. Maybe De'Aaron Fox and them and Malik Monk they shine under the bright lights, and they're like, hey, we're hungry, we're here. You had your chance to put us away, you didn't, and now here we are.
And that'll be interesting if the Kings do pull off that win, beat the defending champs. They're gonna have a ton of confidence. They're a young team that's never been there before, and they're gonna take a lot of self confidence into that Lakers series. I think the Lakers win that series against the Kings, but Sacramento might make it a good series.
Oh yeah, we're in store for some good basketball. I'm very very excited about the playoffs this year.
Absolutely. So, well, I can't wait. Suns Nuggets tipping off here in about 3 minutes. So we're gonna go ahead and cut this one short and go watch that game. But thanks for coming on, Chris, and I'd like to have you back on. Maybe in the for the conference finals or something, or NBA finals.
Absolutely, I'm always down, man. It's always a pleasure to be on the show and just talk sports, man. I love it. So,
Hell
yeah, it
yeah,
was
bro.
great. I'm rooting for the Warriors. I think they got it tomorrow, but let's go
You're not
watch this
rooting for
game 1.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Suns Nuggets. Can't wait for these second rounds and the final game 7 in the first round. Good shit as always, Chris. And thanks for taking the time to come on. And appreciate all the support, guys. All the listeners. Don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment. Keep following along all playoffs long, and have a great week, guys. Peace. Out.